Welcome to The Pulse, where we delve deep into the issues and ideas that are shaping the future of education. I'm your host, Rick Surrency, Superintendent of the Putnam County School District, and each week we'll be talking to teachers, administrators, and other experts in the field about the latest trends, best practices, and most pressing concerns in education. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, or just someone who cares about education, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the pulse. Hi, this is Superintendent Rick Surrency from the Putnam County School District, and welcome to our podcast known as The Pulse. And I am very happy today to have three special people join me, and we're going to talk about CPR, and we're going to talk about some of the training and some of the classes that we offer. But most importantly, we're going to talk about an event or an experience that happened where CPR was actually used and saved a life right here in Palatka. So I think this will be a very informative program that I think and hope that will save a life or save lives in the future. So let me have my guests introduce themselves, and we'll start with Toni.
Hi, I'm Toni Strickland. I am the Allied Health Teacher at Palatka Jr. Senior High School.
Hi, I'm Caren Drew. I'm currently a senior at Palatka Jr. Senior High School.
Welcome, Caren. Jake?
Hi, Jake MacGibbon. I'm an independent contractor with American Red Cross. I'm with their training and outreach division. So I provide CPR to basically any entities that need that training from both a lay responder, from a community level, and from professional tier. So,
well, welcome to all three of you. And Jake, I know we're going to ask you in a little bit to give us a little more details about some of that training and some of the maybe some of the differences that people know about the training. I think just hearing you talk a minute ago has given me some insight on more than just what I knew, but some different types of training.
Sure. So
Toni, lead off as an allied health teacher at Palatka Jr. Senior High. Talk to us about, what you offer as far as CPR and how your students maybe can benefit or have benefited from this.
So Caren Drew, she was one of my students last year, and within my classroom, my curriculum, we actually teach our students CPR. So last year, I had our local firefighters come in and teach the class, our class and Interlaken High's class, CPR training. They spent the day with our students, and Caren was actually one of my students who was able to learn this process.
Now, in your allied health classes, primarily these people that are going into the health field, medical field?
Right.
So the actual CPR training, you bring in people that are like certified trainers to do that.
Correct.
Right.
We have a firefighter paramedic program at our school, so I reached out to them, and some of their coworkers volunteer to come in and be with our students for the day. Very
good. So with that training, and you mentioned that Caren was in your class last year.
Yes.
So Caren, welcome. And how'd you like that class last year? This is your chance to say what you think about Miss Strickland.
The good, the bad.
Miss Strickland was a very good teacher, and I think the class was very enjoyable. You get to go to schools and deal with kids, and you see a lot of kids that are maybe sick, and I just think you learn a lot in that class. You learn a lot of real-life scenarios. You get to deal with a lot of real-life scenarios. And
do y'all actually go into like the elementary schools?
We do.
Okay,
so we went to like five-ish, four. Of our local Putnam County elementary schools, and we got to do their kind of like school screenings where you check their hearing, their eyesight, their height and weight.
And by the way, what do you? I know you're a senior this year. What do you plan on going into?
I plan on doing pathology. I'm still deciding on what to specialize in, either derm, clinical, but that's definitely what I want to do.
Now, tell me, and those who don't know what pathology is. Tell me what pathology is specifically.
It's basically like lab work. I really fell in love with biology my 10th grade year. I really like looking at things microscopically.
Okay. Well, very good. I know now. So you have an experience to share, and this is very personal, and it's very powerful. But I know, was it last year you had one of your neighbors had an incident happen?
Mm-hmm. It was over the summer.
Oh,
right?
Like this past summer?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't realize it's been that recent. So tell us what happened. And again, you don't have to mention names, but just kind of give us the overview of what happened, because this is really important.
Basically, we were sitting down at dinner. My dad went outside because the dog was barking. He saw the mom pull the baby out of the water, the pool, their little pool that they have. The baby was all blue and purple. There's no color in his skin. My dad immediately called 911, and we also saw Kason Bradford, who is also our neighbor. And I won't lie, I did hesitate because, I think when we're kids, we all let the adults take care of situations, but my boyfriend reminded me that I was CPR certified. And so I did go over there, and I immediately saw that the compressions were not deep enough. It was very light, and it doesn't work that way. So I was trying to instruct Kason and the mom because the mom was very hysterical. And my dad just told me to take over, so I did. I did a round, and then I let other people take over, and eventually EMS did get there.
Wow. And the baby's okay now, right?
He's perfectly fine.
Wow. How'd that make you feel? That's a loaded question, I know, but after retrospect, looking back at the training you got from Ms. Strickland's class, but how does that make you feel?
I would definitely say I was one of those kids in the class that thought, why do I need to do this? When will I use this? And it was definitely very eye-opening for me that I've used it a couple months later. I will say that day I was perfectly fine. I was happy that the baby was okay because the EMS did say that he was crying in the ambulance, which is good.
So what were you feeling at the time? I can only imagine you were probably like, oh my gosh, I've got to this person's life is depending on what I know and what I do. So what was going through your mind at the time?
I don't think I was scared. I think I just did it. I wasn't really thinking.
Little adrenaline flow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I am so proud of you and what you've done, and how courageous is that? And just that one experience in class, learning that has saved a life. And man, that's anybody watching this. The whole message is you can possibly save a life, and you never realized you'd have that opportunity, but you sure did. So what a powerful example, and thank you for sharing that. So, Jake, I know you're here with the American Red Cross, and you know what Caren has done is speaks very loudly. But talk to us about CPR and all the different types of training. And I know you elaborated a little bit before we came on, but just talk to us about if someone out there is interested in getting the training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So share some information with us.
You want me to do that, or you want me to talk a little bit also about her experience?
Absolutely,
Because there's a couple of pieces that you brought up. First of all, great job, because a lot of times people will stand back. The saying is, you may save a life if you know it, and you did. But typically in groups, people don't respond. They think everybody else is going to respond. So you did the great thing of stepping in, right? Noticing those compressions aren't deep enough. We want to get those to proper depth. I was curious, did they give 2 breaths when they pulled the kid out of the water? Do you remember?
No, because I wasn't there.
You weren't there,
as soon as she pulled the kid out of the water.
So this is the only thing that's different than for CPR. If you pull a kid out of the water, it's 2 initial ventilations. You can restart that breathing process. It's the only time we start with breaths first. So if they're doing compression only, it's one thing, but our training tells us give those breaths because the brain sort of shuts down that process because the brain's really good at knowing we don't want water in our lungs. So if you give those breaths, you can actually restart it. So if you've seen the Hollywood movie, Gracie Prince did this a few years ago, where she pulled a kid out of the water and she gave those breaths and kids started breathing. Miraculous, right? But it's just that process the body's really good at. But it sounds like you did a great job. So, hats off to you for stepping in and, helping out a kid.
And by the way, let me just say, she has some people that work in our school district. Mm-hmm. And Marlene is her mom.
Right.
And Diana Drew, who's in the studio right now, is our director of student services. Yeah. Her mom is actually one of our guidance counselors. And her dad is actually one of our teachers in the district. So anyway, just want to mention that for people that are curious. So,
both my teachers in past, too, growing up here. So
there we go.
It's a small community, but
yes,
good
it
to
is.
know.
I remember Toni Strickland coming up through school. So, yeah. So,
and I
won't say anything about it, but she's here. She's giving back. So Toni's good to see you.
Small group, but so training services can go anywhere from community-based, which is going to be compression only, which is very important to know those compressions. Argumentatively, one of the most important parts. That's why we only do 2 ventilations in between, and the rule of thumb is get back to those compressions. Those are priority for care. compressing to the right depth, like you were talking about, which kind of massages that heart muscle by squeezing the lungs, which helps to kind of pump the blood. So that's community level. Then we'll do up through lay responder level, which all teachers and transportation in the district has to have by state law, which I provide. And then up to professional tier, so EMS. But remember, EMS is rarely on scene first. Who's on scene first? Our first responders, right, which are our teachers or our students who come up to that. So we have to essentially hold the torch until EMS gets there. So those 10 minutes or 12 minutes before, call 911 as soon as you think you need it. Most people are do this where they forget to call 911. 15-year-old Jake at Putnam Aquatic Center, guess who didn't call 911, right? And then my fellow lifeguard came up and said, hey, did you call 911? No. So the clock starts then. So you definitely want to call 911 anytime you think you need it. Another thing you can do, like if you weren't there, and somebody wasn't sure, you can call 911 and operators can give you feedback on your CPR. So they are trained to give you that. So a lot of people also don't know that they can just call. It's been 5 years since my training. Do I start with compressions? How deep? How many? They can give you those pieces of information. So there's so many resources out there. In the moment, just don't be nervous. Act for sure. You rarely will do anything wrong. The other option is death, and most people would agree that helping is better than death. And call 911 if you think you need it. They can assist you.
I would imagine, just based on the pool, that during the warm months you probably have a higher incidence of people drowning or.
In Florida, it's all the time.
All the time.
Water is so accessible,
Yeah.
And with prevention, we think adults are smart enough to know don't hop into that retention pond, right? But kids lack that knowledge, so we have to be careful of that. Kids like to put things into electric outlets, which can cause cardiac issues. But water is so around us that you just need to be ready and just give those ventilations at first. Ideally, it's within the first 2 minutes to restart that breathing process, and then again, you see the Hollywood moment of spitting up water, right? It does happen, but only in 2 minutes.
I would imagine, too, the heat. Right now, as we speak, we're in August. The extreme heat is probably another factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And by the way, just a little side note, we are offering free heart EKGs to our students through the Who We Play For program. Mm-hmm. And we had over 500 people tested last year. So I'm sure if we haven't already, we'll do a program on that, too. That's really instrumental. So. Jake, what is some contact information if anybody wants to ask you a question or find out about any training or anything at all? Can you maybe give us a phone number, email address, website, and we'll put that on the screen for our audience?
Absolutely. They can reach out to me through my website, MacGibbonConsulting.com. They can text me. They can email me. You can check American Red Cross Training Services. Jacksonville office offers tons of free trainings all in our area, Gainesville. Basically, you got American Red Cross or American Heart Association. Both are very good, reputable institutes. They follow the same criteria. American Heart seems to have more out there. But basically, any training is better than no training, right? Worst case scenario, you can follow, what you see on TV, but having someone tell you the proper technique is going to provide better outcomes for that victim, and you never know when you're going to need it and when you can save a life, as you said.
Very good.
It's almost like you followed the Red Cross's little advertising that says you could save a life. Yeah.
So American Red Cross or the American Heart Association.
Yep. Either of those, you're pretty good. Both levels of training, you're going to have good trainers on both sides. Outside of that, don't get stuck in just Googling it and doing an online training. You never know what you're going to get with that. Stick with one of the associations that can give you quality.
That's great news. So hopefully this has been, instrumental and educational about the importance of proper CPR training and where you can get it and what we offer our students in Palatka Jr. Senior High. And I just want to say again how proud I am of Caren, and she's a living example of how she's used what she's learned in the class. And she's going to, make a career of helping people through pathology and all that, but I'm sure that experience has shaped your life, for the better. So any final thoughts from anybody? Toni, will you leave anything out at all?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Anything you want to say that you haven't said already?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And Jake, any final thoughts?
No, just thanks for being there and doing what you did, because, imagine how far that goes down along the line. Yeah. And also the people watching, because then they'll be more likely to act. People don't act because they're afraid they're going to do something wrong. If they saw you do it right, then 6 months from now in their backyard, in their pool, they may also pull from that memory, from your experience, and then help another person.
How old was the child that?
He was 3.
3? Well, one day it'd be kind of neat to interview that child when he gets older and have you back on the show. Mm-hmm. And I mean, how cool is that? Like, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Caren. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's a future episode, but I'm sure that's something that will be very powerful. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you for tuning in, and hope to see you back and maybe have you guys come back again at some point in time. So thank you for joining us.